What would you want us to know about you?
That I am what I present myself as, a good journalist who worked really hard and who respected the craft and still respects it as a foundational element of our society and as a right that people died in combat so I could practice that right. I mean, I take that very seriously. When you're working as a journalist, I mean, obviously, what unites us is an enthusiasm for cars and motorsports, but most of my professional existence, especially during my newspaper days, during that time period, cars were really something I did on the periphery of my daily duties, which frequently involved writing about crime and government. I'm fond of saying that I spent a lot of time and a lot of energy writing about the consequences of other people's stupidity. You're still, even if somebody has done something that ends up with them being removed from political office or facing criminal charges or potentially being injured or injuring somebody else, you're still dealing with somebody else's reputation as one of your commodities. I mean, it's something that you are presenting to the rest of the world. And that's a lot of power. And it also carries an enormous amount of responsibility. Words and thoughts and the way that they are expressed really matter. They're really important. And they have enormous consequences. And I always tried to be aware of that in everything I said and I did. I mean, you have through your work the power to really elevate people. And I've tried to do that when it was warranted. But you also have the power to destroy them. You can throw a lot of weight. You need to do it very judiciously.
Did you ever feel justified in tearing down a life?
No, I reported the facts as they were presented to me to the best of my ability. If a person's reputation was destroyed, it was usually, in fact, almost exclusively through their own actions. What I tried to do, if I can just give you an example here of what I tried to do, it's very easy to be sophomoric and sensationalistic, especially when you're covering crime or official misconduct. Newspapers and other forms of media have leveraged that, I'll use that word, for a great many years, going back really to the rise of the daily newspaper in this country. And what I always endeavored to do is try to explain the underlying forces or causative factors that led to whatever calamity resulted from them, in the spirit of saying, hey, don't do this because this is how it can get you in trouble. Or to tell a reader, hey, this particular type of individual is out looking to victimize you. Here's how to spot them. One day, I had a reader of my newspaper call the police and turn in a couple of individuals who turned out to be crooked would-be contractors who were basically targeting elderly people and offering to resurface their driveways. They probably snared about 20 or 25 victims for at least $500 a piece that those people couldn't really afford to lose. What I did was sat down with the detective and came up with a step-by-step scenario of how one of these people are going to approach you and pitch it to you and pitch their so-called services to you, which is obviously bogus, and what you need to look for. The day that story ran, a person who subscribed to my newspaper was reading the story when those two guys pulled up in the driveway of an elderly lady living across the street from him. He called the cops. It turned out the one guy was a prison escapee. He escaped from prison in upstate New York. And he was going around with this other dirtbag and figured they'd get some easy money. Say, okay, yeah, give me $500, I'll resurface your driveway, and then they just take off. They slept in jail that night, thanks to me.
This has been Jeff Stearns, Connected Through Cars.